Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nyma. How are you doing?
Morayo. Good morning, ladies.
How is everything?
I'm fine. I wish I could be sharing good news since last Friday, but traffic is still as bad as it was last Friday. Unfortunately, we still don't have control of the tanker drivers at the depot in Satellite Town. I'm begging government. You can't leave home 5 o'clock and get to Mile 2 at 7:30. It's not healthy. Between 5 and, if you leave at 5, you should be in Mile 2 in 10 minutes because it's supposed to be off traffic. But the tanker drivers block from the trade fair all the way to Alakija.
Yeah, but the issue is they've tried to find a solution, e-call-off system. What exactly is happening?
No. The e-call-off did not get to the tanker drivers. They are the depot carrying fuel.
Okay.
So they are parked on the road and they do that recklessly. On Tuesday when I made it here, it was actually because I took a detour back into Satellite Town to find my way out from the express after Oluti. We can't keep doing like that. That's what I'm saying it clearly.
Tanker drivers need to obey the rule of
law. And cannot just even amongst themselves, they should organize themselves. This service lane is not a parking spot. It's the only exit into express for those of us living there. The least you can do is organize yourself in such a way you're on one side and other cars can pass by you easily. At least that way we can live and let's live. And if they are refusing to do it, then the authorities that we voted into power must assert themselves. Because before you know it, now people will now resort to self-help. They'll say, no, the people in that area are not peaceful. For this long that we've been peaceful with them, this morning, all I could think of was, go and fight, go and fight, go and fight. And you know how many people will be frustrated to that point? God don't tell you alone, but it's not healthy at all. It's not.
Hi, Mariam.
I'm doing fine, thank you, and I'm great. Looking forward to the weekend, really. It's been quite a hectic week for me, so I'm looking forward to enjoying
struggling to hear you.
I'm looking forward to enjoying some nice peace during
the weekend. What do you have?
Rest.
Just rest.
Yes, but also I'm starting the next batch of Lifestyle with ML boot camp, so.
The boot camp for life.
And so with that, you know, you are always on social media, on the phone, which for me is quite mentally tasking. So, yeah, I'll get a few days before it starts.
How are you doing?
Good.
I love your shirt.
Yes, so Mariam beat me to it. I was supposed to be the one looking colorful, and then yesterday I saw Mariam. I was like, oh, I like the jewelry. I have something like that from Lumsey. So this was inspired by, I'm channeling my inner Mariam. But today we're going to do a side tour. So I'm going to Morayo, and then I was supposed to take some clients to Morayo again tomorrow, and I just had to cancel it because I realized that Lagos City Marathon is tomorrow. Don't say you did not know. If you did not read the papers, take it from me. There will be traffic. If you don't need to go out, don't go out. Stay at home. Stay at home.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to school tomorrow.
I've cancelled the inspection tomorrow.
No,
We're doing inspection today.
So whether you are going to school,
they are closing. So you better just go today because everybody will be on that queue on Ikorodu Road to the island. It's not going to be pleasant. Public announcement. Take it from me. Don't go out.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. There's a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
Work is making me a bit down this morning, but there's nothing God cannot do. There's nothing God cannot do. It is where. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, let's start with the nation. Attacks on northerners must stop, Governor warns. Abduction, violence, arson in Ondo, Oyo, Kwara, and Rivers states. 20 new universities get licenses. SEC clamps down on firms dealing in illegal foreign investments. Uzodimma Okorocha clash over Owerri attacks. Bandits should be wiped out, El Rufai insists. And power generation drops to 2,805 megawatts. Okay.
So power generation.
Yes, let's talk about that.
That's why, because we've been wondering why we've not been having as frequent as possible light, but the news is that power generation dropped on Thursday to the lowest so far of 3,723 megawatts. In the nation, it says 2,000 something megawatts that it fell below. And because of that, some discos, especially the Abuja disco, they are doing what they call load shedding across the areas. So they're removing and going around and seeing those people who are on multi-phase when they shouldn't be, you know, those who have extra and they can be switching and all of that to balance the distribution of power across the areas. So
this is informative. It's not telling us what cost it. So
no, you didn't say that.
Yes, the discos are the ones addressing this issue that they did not get enough power to supply. What are the GENCOs doing? Because we have a generating companies that were supposed to generate this power supply. So if it is transmission issue or generating issue, they should let us know. They shouldn't just inform us after facts.
Yeah. Let's talk about Kaduna State. Yes.
Yeah, so the Kaduna State governor is saying that as far as he's concerned, all kidnappers have lost their right to life, and this is based on the Constitution. And for him, it is a war. Nigeria is at war with these terrorists. And, you know, he's just saying that that is the way we should see it. So, you know, he's always talked about how he's never going to have any, how he's never going to negotiate with terrorists or with bandits and kidnappers. He says that the only way we can fight this war is to make sure that our security operatives, our military is well equipped and funded for this. So,
in addition, he said that we should take the war to them. We shouldn't be reactionary, but we must actually be proactive and take the war to where they are. Which, I mean, listen, they're different because, on the contrary,
we now have
Governor of Zamfara State. I didn't want to quote him because some of the things he said can come across as inciting, but let me paraphrase. What he's saying is that the northern governors have been quiet, whilst the southern governors are there speaking in defense of their people who are at fault, who are actually at fault. And according to him, that the north cannot continue to remain silent while their people are being killed in the south. And that the south, the governors must begin to speak up so that the northerners who are down south should be protected, and they have the right to live anywhere. Because there are southerners living in the north. And you can't really protect them if you continue.
It's very important that the governors be on the same page, in the minimum, because if you're not united in ideology and in the goal you want to achieve, you can't successfully fight this thing.
Somebody echoed that recently.
Yes, that's
Professor Ango.
No, we saw the communique between Obasanjo and Sheikh Gumi. One of the things was that all the governors need to have one voice concerning fight of insecurity. But also it's what the Oyo State governor tried to do. Remember when what happened at Ibarapa? No, not Ibarapa. Shasha Market. And he invited northern governors. And I thought because of that, it would help, you know, narratives like this to show that the governors are trying to work together. Right. So when you have now the northern governors saying something like this, I see why you say it can be inciting.
Please, I want to take the sex story because, I mean, the money space and the Security and Exchange Commission has said that there are many Nigerian companies, majorly online, posing as investment exchange to help Nigerians invest in foreign companies. So we have the people are saying because the Nigerian naira is not stable, invest in dollars. So now some companies online are now giving Nigerians access to invest in the NASDAQ, invest in New York, and in stock markets, international stock markets from here, and that they are not registered. I should ensure that those companies are registered, because if they are promising you access to exchange there, verify their registration within the country, because you cannot hold SEC accountable when you lose your money.
I shared my story many years ago how I lost $40,000. This is money that I got as compensation for an accident I had in the US. I gave it to somebody who I thought was going to invest for me, and $40,000 wiped out. By the time I came to him, he told me that there was only $2,000 left. So since then, I've been running from investments. So I know what you mean, that make sure you are dealing with the registered company. And since that time, I've had this phobia for investment, so please. All right, moving on to Daily Sun. Insecurity responsible for breakup agitation in federal government. 2023 presidency, APC North Central leaders want ticket zone to South. Ex-governor mastermind of Imo attacks his government. Adeboye celebrates release of abducted RCCG members. Doctor strike reps summon MDCN registrar. And book launch, Aisha Buhari has redefined First Lady office, says Oshimbajo. Okay.
Let me quickly address the Imo issue. So the Commissioner for Information in Imo State, Declan Emelumbas, was saying that an ex-governor, that's how they carried it in the Sun, but we can suggest, we can imply this ex-governor, engaged thugs to carry out this, several attacks across Imo State of their security and correctional facilities within the state. And the objective of the governor is to create an emergency that, will make their state be declared, a state of emergency be declared in Imo State, and of course, immediately I think the Senate takes over governance in that state. I would expect, because in the same voice, the former DSS chairperson was saying that they gave Imo State's Commissioner of Police heads up before some of the attacks, 72 hours heads up before some of the attacks, and he failed to reinforce security within the state, and this happened. Exactly. Instead of us playing politics, let's face security. And if our next governor, if you for a fact can hold ex-governor, because me, I'm tired, they know the people behind the Papa.
They will not talk.
They know them. We will soon name them. We will soon name the one that kidnapped. We will soon name the one that bandit. We will soon name, please.
But if we're going to be hearing this kind of information, shouldn't it be from the security offices? Let the commissioner of police or the IGP be the one addressing us.
If the commissioner of police knows someone and he has facts to nail that person, you release it to the security. Let them go and pick the ex-governor. He doesn't have immunity.
So could it be that you are not sure if
it
is and you're just using it?
You say you see signs.
So we should be hearing from the security.
And then this makes headline.
Exactly. Let's put on that story in the Daily Sun. At least, did any good story? The good story, my own daddy Gios has celebrated the families of those that were abducted in Kaduna. To thank God that they came back alive and well. Moving on to the Punch. There's no that you've been taking that story in Sun. The story that I thought was interesting. Okay, let's move on. The Punch. Kidnap epidemic, gunmen abduct 18 in Ogun, Oyo, Rivers, Imo, and Katsina. Ogun prophet arrested for alleged rape of 17-year-old member in church. NIN inclusion delaying commencement of UTME registration, says JAM. PDP governors in Zamfara beg Matawali not to join APC. And Delta community threatened to shut down oil firm over massive spill. Marketers project petrol price reduction as oil falls, and FG meets resident doctors after 8-day strike today. Let's start with Delta State. What happened?
Yeah, so 7 oil-producing communities in Delta State are threatening to shut down this oil firm called Heritage Energy Operational Services Limited because of what they have referred to the lackluster, wicked and barbaric approach towards the cleanup of the oil spill. So they said they woke up one day in August of 2019, and their farmlands, river streams were covered with crude oil from one of the failed facilities of Heritage Energy Operational Services. And since then, they have written, they have talked, all stakeholders involved have, just made noise concerning the cleanup. And as far as they are concerned, nothing proper has been done. And they're just asking that, just clean up these places. Our livelihood have been affected. Farmers, fishermen, they are in poverty and hunger because of this, and suffering because of their lack of responsibility concerning the oil spillage. And also the women of these communities are threatening to go naked. I think this is women going naked in some of these communities is like a warning of some, of some sort, saying
it's a cost. When you've been oppressed, you go naked and lay cost. In fact, you go naked without laying the cost have preceded you because of that. Because you're not supposed to see your mother's body, and women are like that. So I think apart from the nakedness also, they're just asking that every government and all stakeholders involved to make sure that these people, Heritage oil firm, does the proper cleanup of that. So JAM has discussed the difficulty that they have. They were supposed to flag off registration for the UTME on Thursday, and the spokesperson, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, said that
Fabian.
The delay was caused by some unforeseen circumstances occasioned by its determined effort to have national identity number integration in the JAM. So they didn't release the advertorial. That advertorial will take JAM interested candidates through this step by step that they need to do to get registered. So I'm waiting for that.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that if it becomes too cumbersome for the name to be done, if they can waive it and allow interested candidates just to get
it. We've done many years without name. One more year is not going to hurt, so let's give time.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about move on to Vanguard. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Vanguard. Insecurity tension mounts in Imo, Abia, and Rivers. ACF laments Kaduna government's inability to rescue kidnapped Afaka students. Aisha Buhari's controversial posture endears her to Nigerian, says Osinbajo Tinubu. FG presents provisional licenses to 20 newly approved private universities. Bandits must be wiped out because they have lost rights to life, says El-Rufai. Dangote flour mills Bua in bitter sugar war. Ulu of Warri, Keyamo advises aggrieved persons to accept decision or go to court. Nigerian press instrumental to birth in Nigeria, says Osinbajo, and patients lament as resident doctors strike persists. Okay, let's start with I have
Dangote? Two stories there. Dangote, the drama is. Please, let's do Dangote. So, Dangote, there are three main people that are involved in the sugar industry, big in Nigeria: Dangote, flour mills, and Boa. So now Dangote, BUA, Dangote and flour mills both did a letter to the Minister for Industry and Trade Investment, Adebayo, accusing Boa of BUA's refinery in Port Harcourt of undermining the National Sugar Master Plan. Now, I've been following the National Sugar Master Plan. Even the BUA chairman is the head of the National Sugar Master Plan, applauding it as a very good one. And the goal was to make Nigeria self-sufficient with sugar, so we're not importing sugar. But BUA now has opened a big refinery in Port Harcourt, and that refinery in Port Harcourt is going to be importing raw sugar materials into Nigeria, refine it mainly for export, which, according to Dangote and flour mills, is contravening the goals of the National Sugar Master Plan, and they are calling out that issue should be addressed by the body overseeing the activity. I want to see how this plays out, because there are many cases of people pointing fingers towards Dangote, and now we're seeing Dangote pointing fingers towards BUA.
If there's a master plan and you're part of it, why would you go outside that?
Unfortunately, I think BUA, being the chairperson of the National Master Plan, should protect the interest of all of us.
So I'm waiting for what the Minister for Trade will do concerning.
So our First Lady, to mark her 50th birthday, did a book launch. Says Aisha Buhari, Being Different. I think that's the name of the book. And it was there, the Vice President was there, his wife was there, the leader of APC was also there, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And they, you know, offered quite a bit of encomiums. In fact, let me tell you what the Vice President said. He said that her forthrightness, truthfulness, and once in a while controversial stance endeared her to Nigerians.
Once in a while.
That's true.
And that she's the first to be on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and, you know, so she's different from all the other first ladies.
I can't wait for snippets of the book, because you know the way it is.
I feel like she'll be revealing some.
Three issues. The book was launched and Oga was not around. Is it that we don't have Oga's diary itinerary for the period? Before he went, you know, it could have been shipped.
Medical can move anything. Once it's medical, you have to
the
go.
book was already.
Okay, so
and it was written by.
Well, I love the fact that the former First Lady was in attendance.
Oh, yes.
Oh, paper showed up.
Yes.
And who?
Like
and everybody. I will not take it.
I
cannot take it. He was there. He was there.
I will not take it.
So I guess they reconcile. So we are still here.
So they did together. They've had conversations.
I'm talking about everybody.
They are bigger people, both of them. I think that division across party lines did not concern the women.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Dr. Hajo Sani was one that wrote the book, and he was also there. Okay, yes.
I want to take the story of the university. So we now have 20 more private universities approved in Nigeria. On Wednesday, since February actually, the Federal Executive Council had already said that during the weekly meetings that there will be establishment of 20 new private universities. This will bring the number of private universities we have to 99 private universities in Nigeria across the country. Akwa Ibom, there is in Nasarawa, there is in Cross River, Imo, we now have a lot of private universities.
And they say it's still not enough.
And
They say it's not enough.
because we have a lot of people writing JAM every year, and we can't take them in. We should also look at the
Universities across the world are for two things: research and development. So they get fundings and make sure that that research and current issues are addressed by university students, physics, projects and all of that. But in Nigeria, just go and serve. Because someone was saying to me, I just must serve. I said, go to Open University. Say, no, they don't used to serve there. I must serve. Because it's about the uniform for them. We are not worried. And my fear is, this was how private school started. Before you know it now, everybody, even me, all of us, it has overtaken the normal education. I went to a public primary school and it was of standard.
But this is
So, before we know it, this 99, we call 909. And then eventually all our states, government-owned universities, the public schools will be abandoned.
This is done properly. Isn't it done properly?
They understand.
The point, and again, they tell you that government should be facilitating, really.
Yes.
Our job, the government really has no business in actually creating these sectors.
So I think our ground should be with the vice chancellors to be more creative and solve problems that would bring forward.
Because I know Covenant University is doing very well. It's number 5 in yes, it's private things.
Encourage unusual projects. Encourage new ideas.
Some of them are. I know that. I mean, thank God Covenant University put Nigeria on the map. Because I remember that it was when the top 800 or something in the world. Just and Covenant was number 1. University of Ibadan was number 2. But at least we're in the top 1,000 at the time.
Number 3. It's not,
well, at the time I read it.
It's not leading any state on the university, any federal government on the university. It's a fact, yes.
Sorry,
I read your
yeah, the one I read.
I read your
we read it.
I read your it's number 1.
Say last week last
university there. You can read it again.
Last week also
you can read it again.
Moving on to Nigerian Tribune. I'm talking about universities. I say last. Please, Nigerian Tribune, please. Gunmen abduct and one chiefs attack another police station in Imo. 8 kidnapped RCCG members regain freedom. Man burns ex-lover 2 children to death in Ibadan. Oh, I didn't read that story. Missing Nigerian student found dead in UK forest, still on the Nigerian Tribune. Miyetti Allah to ACF, government on serious, not 400 grazing reserves, and not for all herders. 193 varsity grossly inadequate for Nigeria's 200 million population, says federal government. And why PDP shifted Southwest Zonal Congress to Oshogbo. Okay, which story are we taking?
Miyetti Allah made my day.
What are they saying?
So the National Secretary of the Association, Baba Usman Ngezama, was addressing Arewa Consultative Forum, and he addressed the issue of abandoned 400 grazing reserves, mostly in the north, some in Oyo, some in Lagos, some in Ogun, saying that if all these 400 grazing reserves were revived, we would have addressed the issue of pastoral heading and this constant clash between farmers and herders. But government is sleeping on that solution and allowing this constant division to further divide and widen across the nation. And it's called on all their members and state governments to please insist on government reviving those reserves as a solution, so that herdsmen would remain within grazing reserves and they will function. Governor Ganduje, that was never in my good books, was in my good books for having started a grazing reserve in a state that I saw that could be functional. In the Dubai that we're talking about, scientific solutions were used to convert the desert to oasis. So we can do that here.
Right.
We can bring water, we can do irrigation, we can have...
All right, let me take a few more stories. Yes, go ahead.
The human interest story, the sad story of a woman, Mutiat Oladele, who was killed, allegedly killed, by her former lover, as was reported. So she and 2 of her children, a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, were set on fire by her former lover called Ahmed Saka. She had said to him, I'm not interested in the relationship anymore. He was so hurt and he threatened her that he would kill her and kill himself. And that's exactly what he did on Wednesday when he set her room on fire. There were other people who were in that apartment as well, but they were injured and taken to the hospital. But she unfortunately lost her life, and those 2 innocent children, and he went as well. So
okay, you have to run.
I just have a story from Daily Trust about CBN, low awareness on CBN interventions worrisome. That's from Emefiele, and I really think we should pay attention to this. The CBN governor was speaking at a two-day fair in Sokoto, said that there were many interventions that would support Nigerian businesses, but that Nigerians are not aware and they're not tapping into it from the anchor borrowers and many other financial incentives provided by the CBN. But we don't know about it, and I believe that this is something we should business owners should make themselves aware. If you pay your taxes and your books are up to date, you have access to many interventions provided for by the federal government through the CBN. So make it your duty to acquire information. It is available.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we'll discuss the issue of sibling rivalry. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, jealousy, competition, and fighting between siblings is always a concern for many parents. It usually continues throughout childhood and can be very frustrating till adulthood. We would like to discuss today what your thoughts are on this issue about sibling rivalry. Many have said the cause of sibling rivalry are the parents. But even after sibling rivalry is established, sometimes you expect that these are adults and they can set aside what their parents did and then have a conversation to build a relationship. So we're not going to talk so much about the causes, but it's about how, yes, there's sibling rivalry that was caused growing up. How do we, as adults, have a fruitful relationship? Because the truth is that many siblings lose out on the benefits of having a sibling. You lose out those where you have cousins coming, your kids have their cousins together, they have that relationship, and there's still that wall that was created by your parents. So how do we break this wall that our parents have built? Or how do we begin to come over it, get over it, and build a new relationship with our siblings? That's the conversation today. You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your TVC so we can read your tweet. So we discussed this topic before, but I think we focused much on the parents, what caused it, how it started, and we can touch on that a bit, but it's more of how do adults come over this issue of rivalry and begin to live fruitful relationships.
Yeah, whenever I see,
you hear kind of things.
Yes, whenever I hear it, whenever I see sibling rivalry, whenever I see siblings quarreling, it hurts me because I'm like, you have a sibling. I would do anything to have, like I always intervene in whenever I see any of my friends having issues like that, and I'm like, why are you not helping your sibling out? Why is your younger sister looking like this? Why is your younger brother not, why are you not supporting them? Because I feel that I don't have it, you have it, you don't understand what value you have. People don't understand it. When you don't have it, you would appreciate it more. So from that perspective, I'm always intervening and I'm always trying to get the older person to take the higher road. Because sometimes when you hear the stories of what siblings have done to other siblings, you would support the sibling from saying, please leave them. Just leave them. These people don't. But I feel that I feel my first conversation will be, if you're an older sibling and you're having issues with your younger ones, the onus is on you. The responsibility is on you as the older one to take the higher road of building your family and creating a unit that will support you. It is a huge responsibility because some people will not, they're not responsive, but that older person must take that higher responsibility of bringing it together.
Well done. Thank you. You know, because for someone who didn't grow up with one, I am the first child in my family, and you see this thing that you said is what everyone tried to force on me from when I was small. You are the oldest. There's this my mom always says in Hausa, but Juji, I think you will be the humble one. You take the higher road. And it came to a point that I started feeling quite resentful because I felt like I was being taken for granted, because I had to be the one that would turn the other cheek, because I had to be the one to just let things go. I became resentful, and for a while, you know, I felt like, oh, I used to even say it, if you were not my family, you will not be my friend. If you were not my family, you will not be. That's how bad I felt, because I just felt like I wasn't being treated fairly. But then as we grew older, and I started noticing, my younger ones have stepped in for me in ways that only God can, you know, just bless them. And why did they do it? Am I the best big sister? No, but because we've been brought up to be there for family, be there for each other. And now I understand the, you know, let things go, because you do it for each other. It comes to a point where the younger one will do for the older one. That's one. Secondly, the relationship between siblings has to be deliberately built. We take it for granted that because we are born of the same father or same mother, it works. You know, for me and my siblings, we are bonding and rebonding and growing with each other. I have a younger brother who is much younger than I am. And by the time he was born, I was in secondary school. I'd got, you know, so there was never really that time where, and so for the longest time, it was just always my little brother. And oh, my big sis up there. That sibling relationship wasn't there. And when he came to stay with me, we would clash, but we now realize that we now had to work on each other.
So it has to be
and
deliberate.
because of that, because that's one thing again with sibling relationship, because of our good relationship, my children are watching that. And we use it as an example to them. Do you see me and your uncle do this? So they are doing better. So we need to be careful everything.
Thank you for sharing. I mean, I'll come to Nyma because I have two worlds and it was so amazing. But let me come to Nyma. What are your thoughts on this before I come share my story?
My story is unique. So I have we're 4 girls. And when you talk of sibling rivalry among women, it's a whole different story entirely. I think that as parents, you have to be deliberate about resolving issues. My mom, amazing woman, will take her time, resolve issues. I was in the middle. I was the youngest among the first 3 girls. And I was the weeping child, everything. My mom would go out and my elder ones would bully. They can make hair and I cannot, because I'll be forced to sit down while they are making the didi and the weaving. And if I dare cry, before my mother comes back, I'm dead. Growing up and you were made to choose last, all those issues just continue to build resentment. They'll buy things and they'll say, okay, wait for your sisters to come. And they will come, they'll look at it. Even if I pick, because I'm this fashionable, colorful girl, they will come and collect it. How dare you pick before me? So my parents were deliberate. They will not say, okay, you as the first child, you would not share. Nyma, you will share. So that Nyma's needs for justice will be taken care of when she shares. Then her elder sister takes, so that I'm sure that everybody's taking the same thing. So it was constant. Then I remember the talks after we fought. Our house was a military barracks. All our neighbors knew that my father has children. You can pass in front of our house and the small conversation of the bedroom is reaching me road. It was crazy growing up.
You see,
the conversations post-fight was what was most important. There was a particular fight my dad said to my elder sister, I didn't give birth to Nyma so she will come and serve you. What is your problem? And for me, that was the end of the fight, because I just wanted someone to speak up. You know, because that was basically what I was saying. I'm doing everything for you as my sister, but I don't owe you. But my father needed to stand up at that point and calm down, madam, what is your problem? She's not your slave, she's your sister. What she's doing for you is a privilege. It's not something you deserve. Right. You earn it. And that made her calm down. And we had the wedding, but it was like that. And sometimes post the fight, call the child that you think you need to be, because I had to be a bigger person, not by age. I have 2 elder ones, but I had to do go and talk to your sister, go and all of that. They will do it with Nyma, God will bless you. Nyma, you will do this. So, you know, now the way I see it is, even if these people are the war, we are everything apart in ideas and all of that, I will do the bigger thing. You know,
you said something that struck me, that just, in fact, tears almost came to my eyes, because you said something that just reminded me. My father, when he travels travels abroad. Because the airport is at Isolo. The airport is near Isolo. My other siblings, my half sisters, they live in Isolo. We live in Bagada. So there's no way my father comes back from the US. He will definitely go to Isolo first because it's the easiest. Right. So when he comes back, of course, the suitcases, everything open. So I get the remnants, whatever it is they picked. And now, although it doesn't mean that he didn't buy for me, he bought equally for us. But because somebody had already seen it before me as a child, I already feel as if, why am I the last to see this thing? And one time he got us bicycles. The one that ended up coming to me was one that had a factory default. So I never had the opportunity to ride that bicycle. And I saw my other siblings riding theirs, and I felt it was intentional because they gave me the bad one. You know, these are little things that children say, and it lasts with them forever. But now, let me juxtapose that to my husband's family. They are so, I mean, like, I have never in my life seen people so close. Because my husband is the first son, he like, oh my goodness, everything he says, they agree. Hey, Brown, I said, hey, what? And I'm hearing him say something that just sounds really silly. And I'm hearing him saying, yes, you're right. And I'm thinking, God, you're kidding. I'm like, do you know what that is spell? They see him as a bummy, and he has been able to garner them together, and they all depend on him. So I've seen that too, and I'm like, why didn't we have this kind of relationship with our siblings? What
would your husband say his parents did?
I think because his dad did something that was really critical, which he does now. Every day he talks to them about everything. He brings them together and they talk.
Family conversation.
They have that family conversation. Even when I came to their family, I'll just sit down, Daddy be talking, and I'm thinking, okay, why is everybody looking so interested in this? He's repeating what he told us 2 days ago, and they're all thinking, I'm like, hey, I'm sure you guys have heard this story before, but they are there, drawn. So that closeness has brought them together. Now we've shared our own individual stories of how sibling rivalry played out. I'd like us to go to us as being adults. How do we begin to retrace our steps? What can we do for those people out there who are having siblings that you're not talking to right now? What can we do? Let's go to a quick break. When we come back, we'd like to hear your views on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, as I said earlier, we've talked about our various experiences as children growing up and seeing this thing happen to us. But now that we're adults, because I know that for someone like me, I come from a very big family. I mean, my mother's family is so huge. There's a big family in Lagos State. And it's painful that I don't know a lot of my cousins. So when we have these parties, I just say, Fuja. We all have that circle phase. We know each other, but we don't know each other. And how did that happen? Somebody's father, mother, siblings from somewhere that we have no idea. Either they just never got around together. Now we are the descendants, and all of us don't know each other. So how, as adults, can we begin to retrace our steps such that we don't really replicate this with our own children, and we also fix this? And there's a trust issue. You know, can I trust that I can be close to my cousins? Can I trust that I can close my siblings? Can I trust? There's always that issue of trust.
There's the worst part in my own area where I'm from, where you don't even not just trust, but you see evil as most likely coming from your village people kind of mentality. I remember growing up and I rejected it. I rejected it totally, that I can't have that fear of anybody. I can't have it of anybody. So you see that evil that you're bringing. If you have it at all, it has died. I've repelled it with my thoughts. I would relate with them no matter what. But one thing that I know is compulsory is that if there's a role of elder or head of family part time, you must assert it in resolving issues as well. You must have a balanced sense of judgment, and you cannot be biased. You know, there's no how you have 10 that you not have one that child you just seem to like. You understand? One of my neighbors once told to my mom. My mom was sick, very sick in 2008, and I was with her in the hospital. And she was saying to my mom that it's like, this one like you most. My mom immediately returned it that no, they all like me. She's available. You understand? Fantastic. So that you don't create that sense. My sisters really wanted to be there, but one was heavily pregnant. They all like me. This one is available immediately. So you grow up and make sure you assert that I love all of you equally, even if you have that small soft spot. Let it be in your mind.
Well, how do you separate your feelings for your sibling to the children involved? You know, yes, you and your sibling have issues, but why must we transfer that to the children where the children can't have a relationship? I mean, is that something? Let me come to you, Mariam.
I've seen people who are able to compartmentalize it. I don't know how they do it. They don't speak to each other, but the children will come and they will play. And for me, it just shows to me that within the animosity that we see at the surface, there's deep love.
Yes.
There are some people, they insult each other, but try and insult their sibling outside. They will tear people apart. That's how they are. So I guess it's just a... I don't know how they do it, but there's something, I don't like to quote Bible when we're here, but there's this thing that always gets to, that touches me when it comes to sibling rivalry. It says, it's in Philippians 2, chapter 2, verse 3 to 4. Do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourself. Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. For me, I feel that if that is the foundation of any type of relationship, that relationship will work. We are in a world where everybody feels more important than the other. I am the head. I have more money. I am the wisest. I am the oldest. But if it happens, and I think it's what my mom had always tried to teach me, like, yes, you are the oldest, but you are also the smallest. You are the one that will put yourself down. Everyone else, you see everyone else as important, or even more important than you are. And when that is the foundation, you can only lead and, you can only relate in love and in kindness with each other. So pride, put pride aside and be humble, because now humility has almost become a bad word in our world right now. Like maybe you're a doormat, but that's not what it means. It means that you're telling each and every one of the person involved in this relationship, siblings, wherever, that you're important. And if we do that, that is how we retrace our steps. When you look at any relationship, whatever type, that there's so much war between them, there's just so much disagreement.
Right.
If one person decides to say, okay, you know what, I take all the blame, I am sorry for everything, let's start afresh. It works better than when everyone is trying to put their right. Oh, I'm better than you, I did not do this wrong, you did the wrong. So
let me take this call from the UK. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Douglas, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, the main reason why we have all these pastors are also part of the problem. You understand? Because some pastors have brainwashed our parents to say that, oh, this is your cousin, this is your family, they are this, they are that. They are not good for you. That is why you don't have to go close to them. So if you look at all these things, it's also part of what our religious leaders are also telling our parents. So when we do all this, start brainwashing us to tell us that don't go to this, don't go to that, don't eat in this one place, don't eat in that one place. So all these kind of things always end up creating differences between siblings. And
I didn't get what you were talking
about. Spirituality. Our spiritual leaders sometimes cause the animosity, and they're the ones that will make you feel like this person is the one that is doing something to you or something thereabout. And I think that's a very, very valid point. Many of our parents,
those coincidental visits. So maybe one person has told you have a visit very soon. Something will happen around the time.
And it's your sister.
Coincidence. You could be driving and have a failed brake or anything, and that an accident happened. But they'll tell you it was because of someone visiting. That's what we see in the Muslim. All those affairs. I've written a story, and I hope that I get it out very soon about these things. So they will come and they will tell you, somebody will be coming from, or you want to even travel. You'll be required to come and check it, whether you can travel to visit your loved one. I could not understand it going up, And they'll come to say, I have a problem. See, it is your mind. And anything can happen. I know usually would ask their fathers then, that, okay, what happened when nobody visited and fire still burned in the house? Say, it's the eye. I said, please. Because if only people could reason beyond what they were being told.
Yes.
So you that they are telling, you to sit down and question.
The question will now be, what kind of relationship did you have before that someone on the outside, spiritual or not, is able to sow a seed of discord?
Okay, so we respect our spiritual leaders beyond reason, and sometimes those people sow a seed of discord into saying that this is the people that their aura is not working for you. There's that one too, that your aura is not working together. But for me, I started by saying that the older one should always take the higher road.
Yes.
But sometimes it's not by age, it's by maturity and self-awareness. So you might be older, but you might see your older brother or your older sister, and you can see that they just don't know better, and you have more knowledge and more information. You step into the gap and fill that space. So you might be the one that can rally. There are 3 things that make people very, very important in this country: money, age, and wisdom. But money is #1. We tend to rally around money. The richer uncle has everybody visiting them. Yeah. The poor person, nobody visits the person.
Pause. That the house of the Wait, let me just pause there. Let me take Rashida. We'll come back to that. Rashida, are you there?
Good morning, Morayo.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Beautiful ladies of your view.
Thank you.
This topic is very interesting, and there's something I really want to point out that you guys have not spoken about. I've been talking about, Software has been talking from the perspective of an only child, Nyma, third child. I am a last child, and I think I came to this life, well, let's call it unexpectedly. So I had this rivalry with my immediate elder sister, who was like 8 years older than me. I felt bullied all my life, and I think it affected me a great deal. But with the assistance of our parents, I think our father most especially studied the whole situation and observed that this particular child is emotionally detached from her siblings. If I didn't have a father or mother and I had to grow up in that environment and orphan, I probably won't turn out a responsible adult. So I think siblings too should also be sensitive to the emotions of their younger ones. Just because you were bullied doesn't mean you should bully your younger ones. And this thing starts with the foundations of the home. The father should seek a good wife to marry. The mother should seek a good husband to marry. And then they should lay the right foundation and set a good precedent. I had an elder sister who used to shout. I think I hated her for it. And it took me 30
Rashida.
an adolescent. So I just, these are the things I want to point out.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Rashida. I appreciate your call. I'm going to go on a break now. When we come back, I'm going to hop on what Tokwe said earlier. When you have a sibling who is a younger sibling, but is richer, is the richest, and everybody is now galvanizing towards that person, that kind of also festers this issue of rivalry. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing the issue of sibling rivalry, and we're now bringing in that economic factor into it, the financial stability of others. So here, let me create the scenario. So you have person A, B, C. C is the youngest, and C is the wealthiest. Now, everybody, when C does parties, everybody goes to C's house. Because C, if you want to do wedding, it is C's house that will do the engagement. If you want your in-laws to come and see your introduction, it is C's house we use. Every major party, Christmas party, it is C's house. A is the oldest, but is not very economically empowered. So nobody really comes to that person. If there's any major decision that wants to be made in that family, it is C that makes the decision because he has money. Now, in that kind of situation, is it the right thing? Should money be a factor?
Of course not. In
these kind of things, or should we still have that hierarchy of age to be asserted in this kind of situation?
So we have the culture of eldest in Benin, Edo. We have an Idiogbe circle where the eldest is the eldest, wealthy or not. But we know humans, we always go where the sugar is sweeter. Like ants, they go around the sugar. I remember my own orientation from my family friend's side was to let whoever is wealthy now defer everybody back to his eldest in decision making. So yes, you might be the big funder, but you say until this decision is taken, nothing else happens. There was a time that we had a major project in the house and I was funding the entire project. And I'll put it on our group. We have democracy in our house. My parents had conversations with us growing up. So we grew up into having talks. We will fight at the talk, but we will resolve. And I would defer to my eldest that, what do you think? And she'll say, please, because of course, I defer it back to you. And the one in the middle will say, people should be deferring rubbish. I've taken the decision. Do you understand? So you must know your place. As part time, and it's in knowing your place that this respect continues. If the person that has money doesn't know her place. The people that want to lick sugar will encourage it.
Yes.
That's all.
But you see, you know your place. People also take advantage. Or let me take Garba. I'll come back to this. Garba, are you there? And I come to you.
Yes.
Garba.
Yes, I'm here now.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
All right. I would like to chip into your discussions.
Yes.
Actually, growing up your siblings as children, society should, as much as possible, try their best to see that they try to inculcate values of tolerance. Because what we have noticed over time is that there's a lot of stereotypes in our society, cultural, religious, whatever. And people just seem to get it by way of accepting that children should grow up mutually respecting each other. So I think that's my take as far as relationship of siblings. You know?
I'm having trouble hearing you, Garba. It's not very clear. So what I was saying is that, so the youngest person right now is, you want the person to have respect and defer important decisions. But when that person does that, the A party, the oldest person sometimes, then takes advantage sometimes of the fact that, okay, yes, I'm not the funder, but I'm the decision maker. And then sometimes makes the person who is the funder feel taken advantage of. So because you're not the funder, you're constantly making these big decisions. And the funder is not feeling, excuse me, it's my money. At some point, he will come to accept himself.
You must never have when it comes to
it's my money. So
you cannot have the mentality that it's my money when it comes to sibling. It is not your money. So your personal use is a different matter. But when it comes to decisions within family, it is not your money. So and you must remember to have that sorry, don't vex, I beg. You must remember to have that conversation with the person that is key. So the conversation is not a conversation you put to the group so that they further division. You go to that person and say, maturity means that you have the conversation with the person.
Let me come to Mariam.
So I'll refer again to the passage I took earlier where it says that you must not do anything based on rivalry or conceit, and you must all be humble. That's it. So the person who is funding will not feel taken advantage of, because the person who makes the decisions will come from a place of humility and understanding that the funder is also significant in this partnership. The younger one who is rich too does not feel taken advantage of because his older brother or older sister is making decisions, because he's humble and respects the significance that that person plays. Everybody would understand that we have a role that we play in this family, and every role is important. See, concerning, most families have like meetings or they gather in the house of the oldest. At least in Africa, that's how it's done. I don't know, I mean in Nigeria, I cannot speak for every other African country, but the oldest is supposed to be the one that brings people together, because it is also assumed that he's the most mature and the most experienced and also maybe wiser, because usually the oldest is the one that would have been born when the parents are still young. So he's learned a lot of things, or she's learned a lot of things while growing up before the younger ones come in. Also, if you look at the reason why we do that in Nigeria, is the oldest is usually part of raising the younger ones. At the time when you have so many children, the older ones will now be incorporated in raising children, not even paying school fees, just you carry baby, you take care of baby, you don't do all these sort of things. So that's why that respect is given. And then younger ones have to understand that that respect has been earned and has to be given. It does not matter how much money you have. Your money is something different. But greed and materialism has changed a lot of things.
Let me take this call. Ose, are you there?
Yes, please.
You're live. Go ahead, please. Morning.
Okay, good morning. This is a very important topic. Okay, growing up, I grew up in a large family. I was number 16 out of 19 children.
Wow.
So, but it took me a while, it took me years to be able to know who were my stepbrothers, my stepsisters, my aunties, because the house, if we are not many, we are talking about 20-something. So I was already in secondary school before I could know, okay, this is my stepbrother. It matters what our parents, as in what our parents teach us. Right now, I have 3 boys. When I say, where's mommy's sweetheart, they all know who I'm talking about. When I say, where's my chocolate, they all know who I'm talking about. I have trained them in such a way, even to the TV, if they don't agree on a program, they can't watch. And I don't do separate food. I make them
Come, you are brothers. You have to work together. I have one that just went to boarding school. He's back home. You have to play with your brothers. He's back to square one. When we finish it, we have to train them to be together. It has a lot to do with parenting. When I wanted to marry, I had...
Oh, Ose, are you there? I wanted to continue that conversation.
You know, I wanted to find out, right, in the Yoruba culture, they tend to call their older ones aunties and uncles. And I wonder if you think that also affects the relationship between siblings. Because does it put in place, like, you know, like a wall saying that you're so much older than I am, or you're an auntie, I cannot have that, I cannot have that candid conversation.
I think it's just a respect. You revere your
because
elders.
I've heard people say...
Because Yoruba culture is very much about respect. So they teach you that respect from childhood. Anybody, once you have 1 year older, I'm 5 months, sister mini, you know. So it's, I don't think it makes you...
I think it could be endearing if you don't create a structure where somebody takes advantage of it. But you know, I was making 3 points that there are 3 things that make people respect you. Is either your age, or you're wealthy, or you're very wise. It is good when the most mature is the most wealthy and is also very wise. It just gives you an ideal picture, but it's usually not that case. And it causes division when family members are not polarized towards, oh, should we go to the older person or should we go to the wealthier person? When we have money needs, we know that the older person might not be able to help us financially, so we will now go to the richer person to help us financially. It is important.
Can I pause you for a second? That's where the problem is. It's not because A and B have issues. They don't have. You have had money. It's because the people, the family, will go to B because that one has money. Because A is the oldest, so he's now feeling.
So it's what they call divide and rule. When we divide you, we can conquer. When we divide you, we can rule. But when you're together, and it happens even in marriages where some children will try to say, mommy, they know mommy will not give us, so they go and meet daddy, then they go and meet mommy. It is important as siblings to present a united front. Yes. Cousins and other relatives want to take advantage of your division to sow more issues. I went to meet Auntie Kineko that day. Auntie Kineko said something bad about you. Don't listen. At that point, cut that conversation, because what are they trying to achieve by making you feel bad about your own brother?
I know what people do. You leave your phone. Call Auntie Kineko. I don't. This person is here right now. Yes. She just told me what she said. Me, I don't have time.
That's it.
Yeah, Egbaja is here right now. She said you said so, and I trust my sister. If she said it, I said it. What you want to do? What you want to do? So immediately, we have a united front, but we fought. We deliberately built it. Now, the part you placed money on for the first child is about responsibility.
Yeah.
There's no how that we displace the role of our first child. I remember when I had one emergency, the child that I was made to evacuate, and I was going to go and do a DNC, and I just saw it in front of my doorstep. And she had a baby with her. I was saying to her, please go to your house. What is it? Is it you that you have baby that will stay in the hospital with me? She was crying that I'm your sister. My mommy is not available. You don't have to. I will take care of myself. She didn't understand that I would take, because she has taken care of me all my life. She felt she must be in the hospital. And that's how respect is bought. It's not about the money.
Let's take tweet. Let's engage.
We have plenty.
Let's engage our Twitter.
I want to share this story. I think 2 years ago, my husband's elder brother, and my husband, there are 4 brothers. The first 3 are extremely close. The eldest brother, the middle brother, was having his 50th birthday, and his eldest brother came from Port Harcourt. And you know, he took a moment and he was like, he was broken. Like, he was saying that he wouldn't be where he is without his elder brother. That his brother made sacrifices for him. Yes. And I think that many times as siblings, we don't remember the times when our elder brothers or our siblings stood in the gap for us. And we must remember the good things. It's easy for us to focus on the bad things they've done or the mistakes they've made. But if you're having issues with your siblings, remember the good things they did to you, the sacrifices. The day where somebody removed their socks for you not to get beaten. And I'm sure many of us have those experiences, but we choose to remember.
Let me take this call.
Some positives.
Moyi Olula, they'll take a tweet. Moyi from Musuka, are you there?
Yes, good morning, ladies.
Go ahead. Yes.
First, what I want to contribute to this discussion is that I discovered that before we become parents or whatever we are right now, we expect those we live. And your personality matters a lot. So, the elder person, the younger person, the middle sibling, it doesn't matter your position as a sibling. It is the value you have
Oh,
sorry.
I like the way she said it, the personality. I'm going to use this example. Oh, mommy, please don't kill me. So my mom has two sisters, an older one and a younger one. I always say, when I gist with my sister and my siblings, I always say, thank God for their younger sister for the way that she is. My oldest auntie is a strong, dominant personality. And it's as she says it that it must be. Simple and short. My mother is like, no, why? Just because you said it? Well, you see my auntie, the youngest of them all, she just like water. Gentle. It's as if she was specifically born for those two people. So if she was any way like either of them, there won't have been any relationship. And she does that in such a quiet way. She's the glue that keeps them together.
Yes, but you would not see it. You know, you were saying sometimes we don't remember, but because she's not so, she's not there loud and bold there, you will not realize how important her role is. When one will say something about the other, she will hear it and she would never repeat it. As far as she's gone, she's heard it and she moves on. Do you understand? So it's important we understand. There's a lot of, that's something we don't do a lot of. We tend to see the bigger, bolder, louder person. But there are other parts of the equation that is quite quiet and calm.
Let's take a few tweets.
Everyone together.
Rafa says, sibling rivalry is sometimes caused by parents, where first child is treated as a slave to his or her sibling simply because he or she must learn how to take care of his or her sibling. Biliki says, I believe the work lies with the parents. If they are alive, they should nurture love amongst their children and see each child as an individual, no comparison. Sometimes marital discord makes children take sides, and this can strain sibling relationship if either parents favor one child. Festus Akimboyewa says, sibling rivalry will reduce greatly if parents did not favor one child. Also, parents must be fair and impartial when handling misunderstanding between siblings. That's how parents can be true. There was one method.
Let me take this call. Okay. Obina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I've been calling since morning. I love this topic so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say something. There's something you guys are missing about this topic. I want to look from the aspect of marrying wife. When you see brothers that are together, like so much together, then you find out that they are now old enough to get married. Then they get married. Immediately or almost immediately, issues begin to come up. Like brothers begin to fight each other. I want to use my own family as an example. I have a big house in the village where we can actually live together. Like our second generation will live there, and there will still be more room for the third generation. But you find out that my brothers get married, they want to leave the house. And when you find out the real reason why they are leaving the house, their wives have advised them to leave out of the. I'm talking about the village house. And from there, you begin to see problems. Unnecessary problems. Someone will come back from the village. Someone will come back home. And you find out that he won't come to say hello to his own brother in the village. They will not be expecting who came back first, who didn't come back first. Rubbish reasons. When you look at this reason, you find out that the wives are the backing. Like, you find out that the wives are the main issues to this problem.
Fantastic. Thank you,
I'm sorry I'm going.
Thank you, Obina, because we're actually going to take that. That was another angle we've not discussed. And thank you for taking us. Because how marriage affects.
Let's not say wives, because
affects. How marriage affects sibling rivalry, or even influences sibling rivalry.
If the difference was not there before the marriage, and the difference happened after, is the odd factor that is happening.
Let me tell you how I see it.
That's how they see each other.
The way I see it, I always feel that when we get married, we sort of marry our kind. So if you find yourself in the family and the sibling rivalry is not obvious until someone is being married into the family, I always feel the person that is being married into the family did not just come with the thing. It instead just feel whatever was already there. Whatever you were too afraid to say, now you now have a partner that can make you say it. Yes, now has become a spokesperson, the person that lights the fire. When normally someone would have talked you down, you had no one else to grieve or rant to about. You now have someone at home, either a wife or a husband, that says, why would you take that? Because you're already that sort of person, that is when it will make a difference. Because I just do not like the fact that you always blame the outsider. Because what happens, I mean, it has even happened with, in my marriage, there's sometimes I've had issues with maybe something my husband's brother has said, my husband shuts it down. You know, you stop, you know, you shut it down. I'll handle, in fact, he doesn't, was that a problem? I'll handle it. So don't even make it a conversation. We're talking about it. So, and we're going round and round.
Going back to what Moin said about personality. But let me take this call. Let me take Jude. Jude, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, as regards, let me take it from this angle. If a second party is coming to a family, whatever that person meets in the family, he should go on with it. I have siblings, and we are also close and happy. There's no reason why a person comes into us and doesn't join us to be happy. We've had instances where some wives do not agree to be happy with us. And because of that, there's always a disparity. Secondly, if the siblings are like of different sexes, like myself and my brother, he's my younger brother, I'm the girl, there was always a problem until I decided that this boy is a matured person. We are in our 40s, almost 50s, and I'm still babying him. So that was always a clash. There was always a rivalry between us. So I had to let go that he needs to make his own mistakes. And that way we were able to get along, funny enough. You know? So the way the parents also influence the children is very important. My father taught us one thing. We were always so close. So anybody coming to us had to be as close. We fight. Don't get me wrong. We are fighters in our house. But the thing about it is that we always remember each other. Unfortunately, you can't choose your family. Right. You can choose your friends.
Thank you very much, Jude. Yes.
So I wanted to emphasize on that fight as the solution. So there are some fights that must happen for respect. My father used to say, when on a fight finish, the bigger person will know. So there's not all the fight you, as a parent, you come in. Because my mom used to feel embarrassed when we raised our voice. My father would say, leave them. You people should fight that fight. Because if that fight is not fought now, I don't want you people fighting any fight in the future when your children start to come. So there are some fights that this thing you are doing to me, you have to speak up. Even at the point of burial, I remember that there was a fight that was happening and I didn't say anything. After 3 weeks, even with everybody in the house, we fought that fight. Until today, we have not fought any fight again. Everybody has respected their side. Because I will start building up inside without, and the other thing I want to say is there, but I'm respecting the situation and circumstances on ground. And this other person is still doing it and building it because the person doesn't know to stop. So some fights, as parents, allow them happen and you sit over them. When they finish their fights, everybody is quiet. You can call them. Yes, and they've aired out their emotions. And most times, siblings, after a fight, they're tired. They just want to love themselves and move on. So let the fight happen.
Right, so let me go back to the role of the spouse. I think that is very, very, the spousal role is very important. I have a very good relationship with my sister-in-law. But prior to marriage, I first felt, my first impression was that she was not the most friendly person. And my husband also wanted to shield me from any unwanted, you don't need to go there, I'll deal with my brother. So I told him, I said, you and your brother will be close, but I want my children to have a relationship with their cousins. I said, so I made a deliberate effort to become familiar with my sister-in-law, and we became friends. And in the beginning, it was a bit, but I just told myself, I'm going to make it work, because I just had to.
So that was my last.
I took it, and now we have a very, very good relationship.
That was the last segment, because I was going to take it in batches. So the last segment is, what are the benefits of rebuilding these relationships? What are the benefits do we have? Maybe we should be itemizing more of these benefits so that people can see how important it is for us to mend our ways. But let me take this call. I think it's been holding. Funto, are you there from Abuja?
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I'm still here.
Don't listen to the television, please. Listen to me. You're live. Go ahead, please. I have to disconnect that call. Yeah. Yes, go ahead, Mariam.
So please, based on the advantage, I was already talking about my sister-in-law, so let me just put this out there. She's very, very blunt. So if anybody knows my Mrs. Odige, you know that she would stick out. If the cup is here, she can say, why is this cup here? Why should you put it here? And she would just say her mind and she moves on. Many people took it as she was too aggressive. On the reverse side is that you hear the truth from her. And I heard a very, very, it was a gbas session, and I will never forget December 2019. And my sister-in-law just sort of opened my head and told me, Tope, open your mind and think. There is money, and there's no sex to making this money. And she made me realize how much she had made. And she was very, very honest about, I made this, I made this, I made this, I made this, I bought this, I bought this, I bought this. You can also do the same. And for me, it was like somebody just unlocked the door.
Thank you. Let me build on that. You see, the kind of opening up is only from somebody who dearly loves you.
No, who's seen her effort?
No, and aside from that, the point, I'm trying to make a point. The point is, when you have a deep relationship with your sibling, you can only hear this kind of truth. Sometimes your friend will not tell you this kind of truth for different reasons. But that kind of truth can only come from a sister or a brother who knows, listen, you have bigger capacity. And this is what I've done. I can show you the books that this is how I made my money. This is how. So let's talk about the benefits of mending this relationship. What are those things that we can actually begin to visualize happen in our children when we have this great relationship with our siblings?
It is beautiful that there's financial benefit to it, but there's also the companionship. We can't live alone.
Exactly.
We can't exist alone. We need family. We need friends. So if your goal in life is so, okay, let me just have friends and not have family, I wonder for you. But it is beautiful to have your family. And it doesn't have to be, if the person, whatever the person has to give you, value it. Some people would value money. Some people will value the knowledge, you know, that she gave you. Some people don't have that, but they have the love for you. They just want to be there for you. You know, genuinely. I love my sister so much in me. There was a time something was rife in the media industry. I was summoned. They called the family meeting. They said, this one will be WhatsApp call. As we were there, it was like I was center. They say, hey, all this thing. Initially, the reaction was, these people just jealous of me. I was just looking at them. Because the guy amongst us is only him. He would just be, when I finish. He will be at meeting, he's always on his phone. But the women will go around you.
See,
so I love that. I love that I'm answerable. So for you,
I feel a bit disconnected because I came 12 years after my immediate brother. I'm like a baby. So the kind of conversation they have is wasn't even. I'm too small in the scheme of things. Like I'm so far, and we didn't live together. They left the country, and I was just like. So I always felt like I was almost like you, like an only child. It took a lot of me. Sometimes when I share my story with my husband, he looks at me, Umash. You're a traumatized child. You tell me that you're traumatized. Yeah, but let me.
Yeah, so for me, the benefits are just numerous. And let me just go again to my family. So, as I said, there's many years, too, between myself and my brother. But my brother has now sort of become the figure, he's the adult male that my son can relate with. Imagine if I did not have that relationship with my brother. My brother is into IT, you know, and he's doing very well. And my son has such a love for things like that. And you know, they are already making plans of, okay, when you're on holiday, you follow me to the office, so you get to know all these things. So this is easy mentoring happening right before my eyes. Do you understand? And I also have stepchildren, so he has half siblings. His older brother, my son loves his older brother. If I don't push that relationship, we have that connection. He loves, as in anything his older brother says or does, my son wants to do it times 10. He wants to impress him. And to have that, for me, I'm like, okay, because I always used to have the fear that, okay, I have a much older husband. You know, where would that bonding come? He does his best, but I feel that these ones who are younger, in a way, they are able to bring him up. And my son is learning a lot from that. I've seen situations where you look at cousins, you look at sisters who are doing fantastic outside, but you cannot approach them because you never had that sort of relationship.
I think I have a call. Good morning, are you there? Nothing much. Sabina from Jos, are you there?
Yes, good morning.
You're live, go ahead, please.
Yes, I want to contribute on this discussion. It's quite a very interesting discussion.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I like when the other lady was talking about divide and rule. Okay, in a family setup, you know, sometimes the parents, most especially, they tend to favor some children more than others. And when there is a problem, instead of them to bring the children to a sitting position and discuss that issue, they wave one up. And you know, that one is very painful for the other one that is waved up. And you can't have an issue and somebody said that you will not listen to it. It's not right. So parents need to sit up. When there is a problem, bring the children together. Don't divide and rule. We know that even in the Bible, with the children of Isaac, there was something like that. The mother loved this one, while the father loved this one. So there was an issue, there was a problem. So when there is a problem, the parents should bring the children to the dining table, argue whatever issue, apportion blame to whoever, you know, is at fault, and then ask them to apologize to each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So, but one thing I always find is some people always hold on to what their parents did. When you're now an adult,
Thank
what
you.
We just took it from the ground. I was going to say that we've been having many phone calls from adults who keep saying the parents, and I think many adults need to heal. We need to forgive our parents for all the injustice they did. Like you feel like they did you a major disservice, but you need to forgive them and move on. Like you need to, sometimes it might be therapy, sometimes it might be just writing it down and telling yourself you forgive them, but you need to let go. Because we are hearing it over and over again. Parents should do, but parents have already done. What are you doing?
All right, let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us on the last lap of the show. I think we have Hassan. Hassan has been holding. Are you there?
Good morning, Morayo.
Good morning.
As usual, Hassan.
Good morning, the executive members of the panel. You see, all this kind of sibling rivalry has to do with parentage. That's number one. The whole blame should go to the parents. That's number one blame. And number two, it has to do with the family setup. Some families are polygamous. And we all knew what polygamy stands for. You cannot expect a unity. It is only by God's grace you can see unity in a polygamous setup. We all knew. But in some areas, we saw a kind of divine interventions where the parents were able to sort out their differences and leave the children to live harmoniously. Let me chip in one short story to you. In our own family, we had one that is deaf. And do you know what they wanted to do? They now wanted to do cherry picking. Whenever there's anything, they will call him. You call. They will leave the remaining ones that are well educated, you understand, but they don't have money. Do you know what my mother did? She stopped that one with money. You are not going. The elders should go. Don't divide my family. A woman should stand out, should keep her feet, and make sure that they don't visit, divide and rule into her family.
Exactly.
And you make sure, you see, in my own family, money is not the order of the day. The elders command. And that was what was set up right from the onset. So parents have a lot to do here.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Hassan. I know I want us to really recap what, because we're talking about solutions now and how to solve the problem. I know that talk about financial financial coaching. You talked about friendship, you know, how it's important. You also talk about career coaching, because you're mentoring, that kind of stuff. So these are the benefits of making sure, because this is somebody who you can trust. These are siblings who you've grown up with, and you can always depend on.
Mariam said something I wanted to never forget.
Yes.
Mariam, as the wife and mother, stepmother in the house, did not create a mentality where it is impossible for the children to be brothers. So when we come into the house as a woman, we are not all lucky. There are times when you come in and there's love and you can just be flourishing. There are times when you come in and they actually have an underlying division issue. You as a person, you have to question the mentality you came in. A friend of mine had a younger wife come into the family at the time when her house was in fact, the pot was on the fire. They were boiling her. And the girl with a competitive mentality just came in and enjoyed it. And she would spread the word around. You know, she would have gifts and she would give everybody. She would say, I have a gift for you in front of the one, in front of my friend. And she would say, I have gifts for you, I have gift for you. And the elder wife would just be wondering, we did not join to marry this girl. What is happening here? And she would push in that division so much. You know, and I said to my friend, I said, relax, leave her. If it is her goal to live with all of you as one, she will survive. If it is her goal, she will continue to be the outsider. She will divide and push herself out. And eventually she said it was a toxic environment. I have to go out. And to check yourself. You yourself, are you not toxic? You were the toxicity. You were so toxic.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go back to this. I really want to take solutions.
Well, we mentioned advantages, but we also mentioned solutions. One of the solutions is, as we are now parents, that you've enjoyed the issues with your bad parents, what they did unconsciously. Forgive your parents and move on. 2, be the bigger person. Whether you are the richer one or the poorer one, take the higher road of bonding the family and doing the work to make sure that your family bonds together. And if you are the richer one, you know, we mentioned this thing, and it's really, really bad. Yourself. If you are the richer one, and they will come and meet you and try to make you feel all important.
Stop the competition.
Hit the humble pie, even in your riches, and give respect to your older one. This would do a whole lot of. This will make many relationships.
Let's take it. Let's take about 5 or 6.
It says siblings rivalry is best resolved when we allow ourselves to be ruled by the true word of God. Live like children with each other. And then Ogumola says, clear distinction between siblings should be vivid by establishing order, yet hidden by teaching love. Let them be responsible for each other's actions, promote and reward teamwork. They can have individuality and be united at the same time. Ajura Walo says, in most cases, the rivalry comes when the family is polygamous. The mothers always want their children to be on top and be in control, hence causing issues between these children. I'm talking from experience and from a polygamous home, and it's not good. Someone says, I believe parents should not expect their eldest children to take care of the younger siblings. That way, younger ones don't feel subservient to their older.
Let me take this call from Sheo.
No, I tend to agree.
Let me take this call from Sheo and I'll come to you, Nyma. Sheo, are you there? From Dubai?
Yes, yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to say that the parents has a lot to do with the discourse between siblings. I remember when I was young, my elder sister, my dad would go and beat her up at night because she's not reading when I'm reading at night. But when we both grew up, she was in university and was already making money, and she was in my town. I look at the way to solve this problem. I went to her hostel. In the night, when I know that her roommate will be there, she was not talking to me. There's a mark on my body. She will never collect money from me. But I went to her hostel. I made sure people were there, and I prostrated for her in front of everybody. In front of her roommate, a young, small girl that could come to her side. She was crying. From that moment, we became friends. So the siblings too, you find a way to break through to solve the problem that the parents probably created.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Sheo. Fantastic. He said he frustrated for his sister. His elder sister was in school and he was already working, making money because he studied and did fast. And then he went there and prostrated in front of younger people to honor and respect, and that broke the ice.
So anything you need to do. Faith Noyelu says it's 100% the parents' fault. My husband's family is having a fresh one now. And to tell you the truth, I don't know what to do. Or tell my husband, I tell my husband, like, this is a long thing caused by their parents. I don't know what to do. I have not experienced sibling rivalry. But parents, when they are children and you have to compare children, you create a competitive mentality unknowingly. Some children will now grow up, I just want to be successful than you so that I can rub it in your face. So stop the competition. As soon as you're older, end it. Yeah. We once had a conversation, and my sister didn't know when she took it into our children, and she was saying, I think this one is more finer than this one.
That's a conversation that can never happen in my house.
You understand?
Never.
Immediately, I nailed it. Like, sister, thank you. All of them are fine.
Never.
Do you understand? Immediately. Because she doesn't know better. But this competitive mentality was created quite early because she was very brilliant. And they would always say to her, can't you be like her? Can't you be? I don't want to be like anyone. I just want to be me. So you understand?
So, Nyma, this
so
person that sends this WhatsApp this tweet now is she's caught up, married to a family that have issues, and she doesn't know what to do. What would be our advice to her?
For me, be the rallying.
Yes.
Yeah, be the rallying point. Be the rallying point. Be the one that any one of them can come to tell you about. See, there's something I've noticed, and I've seen this amongst friends. You're a group of friends, and two people are fighting, and then let's say Morayo and Nyma have an issue. Morayo will come and tell me her grievances, and maybe in anger about Nyma. And then I take that same thing that Morayo has told me, and then I'll tell Nyma, do you know this is what Morayo said? Or Nyma said that, do you know this is what Nyma said? You can never do that. What you now become, you become the priest. When they come and do confession, you know what everyone is saying about each other, but you never repeat it. Instead, when Morayo comes and says something about Nyma, I say, but do you know Morayo? Nyma only says lovely things about you. Even if she doesn't, I will make myself that oracle of just creating peace until both of you now start seeing eye to eye. So don't be the one that causes discord.
Dr. Moyo, sorry, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes.
You're right.
In fact, what you are talking about is like you described my family in totality. My mom came from a polygamous home, and she had issues. She had beef with her siblings, but she wanted to rectify it. She didn't want it to continue. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly. Go ahead.
She didn't want it to continue with her children and their siblings. So she brought my cousins, two of my cousins. She wanted us to relate individually. She wanted us to have our own experiences, not based on their own relationship experiences. So I discovered that I have an immediate cousin. That one is extremely mature and caring. When I was doing my master's, he will call me. I know on the way, he will cook. I did not ask him to cook anything for me. He will cook rice, he will cook meat, he will get water for me. He is so extra caring. Even when I see it, people like Sarah Oroyi, Lagos practice, he will buy Rob. He will come and check on me. You will know that that is him. But the other one, that one is extremely selfish. He does not care how you feel. You be like that. It's all about himself. But so I was naturally endeared to the caring one because you will know he does things out of love. He does it out of a place of love. And all that. So he's not beating the one I'm close to. Like I'm taking. He's as if he's taking my attention away from him, not knowing that it's his character. So I just let him be because I think just want issues. I have to let him be.
Thank you very much, Moyo, for sharing your story. You see, there's something that I think I should share my own story concerning the roles of the spouses. Because, you know, I told you, my oldest brother, the one before me, is quite older than me. And as a young girl, I was, not young girl, not too long ago, I was rude, you know, to my brother. And I said things that, if I was to you, I'll say it to you, it's okay. But you're talking to your older brother, there should be some kind of respect. And because of you're on television, you think you now have the audacity to be speaking to your older brother in a certain way. So I think I went overboard. And me, my older brother was supporting me, but the fact that what I said was wrong. My husband, understanding how important what I did, how wrong what I did was, that day, after I had apologized to my brother, but he knew that it wasn't enough, because my brother said some things to me, that when my husband read the message from my brother, he said, for your brother to say these kind of things, he's hurt. My husband wore a white upper, you know, he's dashiki, white, went to my brother's house, prostrated on the floor and rolled on the floor. So he wore his best white. But listen, Emma Binu, on behalf of Mariam, I am here to beg for my wife. Momoko Shane, please forgive her. She did it totally unintentional and everything. And my brother seeing how sacrificial my husband was, humbled, he called me back and told me to turn on me. So it just shows how important spouses can be in mending.
Look at that, Morayo. Do you think you can, the way that your husband is there any bad behavior that you can bring that will destroy his relationship with his siblings? It will never happen. Because he values his family. So when people say, oh, spouses come and then they spoil things, what would happen is that if you brought in any bad vibes, so that he will address it. He will make sure that you kill it before you bring it to affect the rest of his siblings. So we need to also, we tend to always point to, is the wife, is the mother, is the parent that did it. What are you doing on your own? Make sure that
the problem for me is that this is how women, most particularly, and I'm sorry to say as a woman, we're the ones who extend the relationship, all the rivalry to the children. So our children could be best cousins, best first cousins if we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
If somebody is, take the bigger road, just let it go. And do that road, take it well, be sincere in your heart. Sometimes you have your parents behind you telling you, don't talk to her, she's kinikon. The lies that you have to tell to justify what you're doing, you know them. You know when you're lying, nobody will deceive you, you know your heart. So there's no point. When you know this person's children and your children are going to be cousins, maybe you're the sister and your husband, your brother is somebody else's wife, and you don't know where to rest your problems. You let it extend to the children so that the cousins now start to see themselves like that collapse story where they are looking at who to trust. Make sure that whatever is between both of you ends between both of you.
Let me take this call from Adebayo. Any more tweets, please? Adebayo, are you there? From the UK.
Hello,
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, ladies. This is a wonderful topic. Particularly what film did. I know it's a parent. I know it is parents bashing, but if you look at what Sheun did, even when the dad was doing wrong things, Sheun knew that the dad was doing the wrong stuff. And when Sheun went to the sister to prostrate in the university campus, he didn't take permission from the dad, and he has forgiven the dad because that is what the father understands at that level. Yeah. So, our parents have committed mistakes and all the rest. What have we done to correct it? I grew up with a family of 14, and I have an elder sister, and elder brother who took care of me when my father died. My father died young. They trained me. We went to bury my mom. One of my elder sisters said he was going to dance first in Yoruba land. Myself and my younger brother will call her into the house. We asked her, she sat down. We told her it's not going to happen because this is not the way our father trained us. He trained us to be straight. These other ones, they are old. They don't have money, but they are going to dance before you. There's nothing you can do. We corrected her. At the end of the day, he called both of us into the house and thanked us because he didn't realize he was committing a mistake. We should act as checks and balances to our safety. They might be mad at you at that level, but if you are doing the right thing, they will come back to you and apologize. God bless Nigeria.
Oluwakemi says, if my brother-in-law is toxic, I wouldn't want my kids to have anything to do with him. No rivalry, no hard feelings, but obviously it has no value to add to my kids. That mentality is divisive.
Yes, it is.
Because what is your judgment of toxic, of how toxic it is? You don't know, you were not there. I always say, don't inherit the battles you didn't see. You were not there, you knew nothing. You just look from outside and you're judging from how you think it is. When the person is not in jail or he hasn't murdered someone, what do you determine toxic? You might have suffered an injustice or even of imbalanced parenting.
Her ability
you were not there.
to relate with him will be a lesson to the children on how to relate with tough
people.
Now, still accept them.
I don't know if we have enough time. This thing that you said, this is an American actress that talked about her. She had lost the relationship between her and her children. She had become an alcoholic, and they just hated her. And she said that it reminded her of how she did the same to her mother. Her mother too was not a good parent, and she did not work on the relationship. Now, when her children deserted her, she now found a way, and she was working on her relationship with her mother. They saw that. They now understood how, when you have a parent that is not up to par, you know, how to work at that relationship and make it better. So for some of us, you know, when you're making it, the way what we now show, how we now behave, how we now decide to turn a situation around will affect how our own children too would treat us and treat each other. We cannot keep pointing at other people about life.
I've been in this situation.
Andrew from Seven hasn't said anything since one.
He said this topic is too heavy.
He's been tweeting about his 10 years gap between sisters. But Loki says, I've been in this situation for years, even before I got married and had kids. It always hurts me deeply. I don't have any closeness with my brothers and sisters. I'm weeping sending this tweet. So that situation, you have to stand up and do something about it.
So you have to wrap up. I like you guys to the final words on this. So because they only have a few more minutes. Nyma, your final words on this.
No, go. Let me be thinking.
Okay,
just lead with love. That's it. Be humble, lead with love in all sorts of relationships, and your siblings are your greatest ally, honestly.
Fantastic. So I'll say what I learned from one of Morayo's lives with her husband back then. He said your family is your first line of defense, and he broke down what first line of defense means. And for me, I think everybody should realize that you might have friends, you might have colleagues, but your family, that family, that the people you must be able to call, and you must build that relationship. It might hurt, you will be humble, you will feel like you are being cheated, you are being beaten, but if you make that sacrifice to make the relationship work, you'll be better for it.
Okay, if you are a parent, you're still alive, and you notice this is happening, make sure you're rallying points. Make sure that these children, when they come to you, they meet eye to eye. I have a friend who hated her grandmother because her mom was Igbo, and the grandmother would constantly divide them, saying, "I'm Igbo," within her grandchildren, because she never really liked the mom. So if you're a grandparent today, you are alive, and your grandchildren who are supposed to be first cousins cannot meet in your house until you are forcing them, hey, see your sister, oh yeah, see your brother. You know, you're not doing the right thing. You're not compelling their mothers to bring them so they know each other, and you know that you have created a generational division.
Can
so
I
please,
read one
use the opportunity of life.
He said, this discussion brings tears to my eyes. When I had to sacrifice for my sister to travel to the US or send money to my junior brother to go to OAU, men, being first could be tough.
So we have to wrap up. I think that this is our first time taking one topic through for 2 hours.
2 hours?
So obviously it's an intense topic, and it's something that there's so many parts to this. We've had the conversation, but I think what I would like to say is that this weekend, think about where you are with your siblings and try to do one thing, make that phone call, and set up a meeting to meet them. Try to start a conversation with a sibling that you're having issues with, and give gifts and share.
Sharing gifts, and just endears.
And it breaks
we still love it. I got a full kima from my sister, and I remember calling her immediately, even though I would have been busy. I mean, I'm busy, but immediately. So give gifts and remind each other of that love that you grew up with.
That's all we can take.
It's Ramadan in 3 days.
Oh, when is Ramadan starting?
3 days is Monday or Tuesday.
Wow. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye for now.